MacBook.
It doesn't matter.
Everything looks good on my screen now.
You still see black?
Let me take a look. No, now I don't. Now I see the screen with Tarun in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Perfect. All right. Let's start. All right. The Art of Conversation. Yo, so what's this book? The Shape of Design, Frank Chimero? What is this?
Yeah, so Frank Chimero is this graphic designer that I used to follow when I first got into design. And he started by...
Sorry, what was the book name?
The Shape of Design by Frank Chimero.
Chimero, C-H-I-M. Yeah, there we go.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, so Frank Chimero is this graphic designer that I started following I don't know, almost 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
When I started getting into graphic design myself. And he was on Twitter. He was sharing a lot of his work. He was really good at sharing not just his process of hey, how to do a certain thing. He was really good at talking about design at a different level.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking about why it's important.
Can you pull up his Wikipedia page?
Yeah. He has this really good essay called What Screens Want.
Oh, yeah, I heard of that. Does he not have a Wikipedia page?
Can't see it, but he has a website.
Yeah, go to his website. I remember this What Screens Want. I haven't looked at that in a long time, man.
Yeah.
Let's see this. Is this him?
Yeah.
This is his website?
Yeah.
Yeah, What Screens Want. Okay. I'm a designer with 20 years of experience in brand, product design, and creative direction. I have an international reputation for creating warm, smart, and effective design for a variety of companies in technology and publishing. Among these is Abstract, acquired by Adobe, which I co-founded in 2014. I'm head of brand at Modern Treasury, directing our creative output across go-to-market, including the visual identity. Okay. I also write and speak about design.
Yeah.
Several of my essays and lectures are assigned in design classrooms around the world. So let's go to What Screens Want. I remember this one, but I read this a long time ago, man. Really.
This is from 2030. It's
go to the, not to butcher it, but go to the end. Oh shit, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is really cool. So I think the essential part of this one is the video. So if you go to...
Okay. Wait, let's just read this for a sec.
Yeah,
Let me leave you with this. The point of my writing was to ask what screens want. I think that's a great question, but it is a secondary concern. What screens want needs to match up with what we want. People believe there's an essence to the computer, that there's something true and real and a correct way to do things. But there's no right way. We get to choose how to aim the technology we build, at least for now, because increasingly, technology feels like something that happens to you instead of something you use. We need to figure out how to stop that. Let me say that again. At least for now, because increasingly technology feels like something that happens to you instead of something you use. We need to figure out how to stop that for all of our sakes before we're locked in on rails and headed towards who knows what. One of the reasons that I'm so fascinated by screens is because their story is our story. First there was darkness, and then there was light. And then we figured out how to make that light dance. Both stories are about transformation, about change. Screens have flux, and so do we. So the pep talk is that things are starting to suck, but there's a capacity for change in what we've made, who we are, and what we believe. Everything was made, and if we want, we can remake it how we see fit. We only need to want it, and then we have to build it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the essence of this essay for me, the idea that I keep coming back to is screens are this medium, unlike any other, that are designed to be changed. The reason when you're designing for a screen, you're designing for elements that are constantly moving and they want to move, right? And there's a lot of elements in this.
Yeah.
Like when you look at, he talks about like drawing a horse in different mediums, right? Like a photo, and then you have like a sculpture,
Yeah.
and then you have a elaborate painting, right? These are all great for those mediums, right? But what is a horse on a screen? Like, and he talks about motion design as a big part of that, right? And there's this like super famous, you probably know about this. This is the first recorded film.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what actually made me realize that there's something really in common with screens and film, between software and movies.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think I've shared this with you a couple of times, and I think it's one of those, we've had a couple of conversations about those two mediums. In fact, that's how we like kind of met, right?
Yeah.
It was because I was stumbled upon something and I was like, hey, this is related to film and I don't know anything about film. And like, we just started talking. And so this essay kind of goes into that.
What was the video you mentioned? You said a key part of this was the video.
Yeah. So he talks about software.
Is it up?
I think it's a bit higher. And this is one of those things where he talks about skeuomorphism and how software was made to look like something else.
This it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
have you noticed what's happened to plastic in the last 10 years?
Is this
It's
him?
become
No,
something
this
it's
is
so
archive footage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, early on, if you made something in plastic, you had to make it look exactly like what it was replacing. I mean, particularly leather, or people wouldn't buy it. It's not so long since the word plastic was an insult. Cheap and nasty, remember? Not anymore. It's as if we suddenly changed our attitude to what real meant and recognized plastic for what it is. Something that permits us to own objects that we couldn't possibly afford if they had to be made in the so-called real thing. So now it's everywhere. I mean, look at this office. That's plastic. So's that. So are these. So is this, and especially what's inside it. There's plastic paint on the wall. There's plastic wood on this desk. My shirt is plastic. And now there's a new generation of objects that can only
It's a
be
really
made in
good video.
plastic, like that cassette.
Yeah.
It's a plastic world. And because of plastic, it's a plastic world in a different sense, in the original sense of the word. It changes its shape easily. So now we no longer buy the thing we want, we buy the shape of that thing that we prefer.
Oh.
And when the shapes change regularly, which they do, we begin to want them to change regularly.
Oh shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. This thing, oh my God, this makes it like, especially now.
Yeah. So why does this what do you think this means?
So I think there's I mean, if you keep reading the essay, there's like, if you go down here, there's this idea of like, he talks about how software started by mimicking what it was supposed to represent. Like the most famous example of this is like the Notes app in iOS when it first came out.
Right. So the plastic is in the example of the plastic, it's like, oh, we have this cheaper material now.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and like first replicate these things that people already want.
Exactly.
But then once you can do that, it's like, well, what happens if we change the shape a little? What if we do this? What if we do that? And then
and I think this is like, it's representative of every medium. Like the first thing we do whenever a new medium comes out is we use it to mimic what already exists. That helps us understand like, what are the affordances of this medium? What can we make with it? We don't know what we can make with it, so we just make what we've already made. Right. And then once we do that, then we're like, oh shit, this thing can do this and this other thing. And then you realize, oh, okay. Then you start getting into like the second phase of that medium, where you start making things that can only be made in that medium. Right. And there's this like sort of super common pattern that's happened. We see it again and again and again, right? With new technology, right? First you start by just making what existed, right? And then you move on to making what can only be made by that. And that's what people call like native,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, this is AI native or internet native.
Yeah.
Like it could not have existed without that medium.
For sure.
Right? So it's just this like super common pattern I see, and he noticed it in the plastics industry from the 50s. So I wrote this essay about software and plastic on my blog, and it was basically referencing this, right? And I got super interested in this idea of like, well, if I want to understand what happens to the software industry, what might, like, it would be really interesting to look at what happened in the plastics industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And, there's some like really interesting ideas there. One being that there's right now only one plastics company in the world.
Like right now?
Yeah.
What?
Dow Chemical is the number one plastics producer in the world.
Yeah, but that's not one plastics producer.
No, it's the largest, right? And
yeah, we gotta look into that. I believe you, but I want to see.
Yeah.
Go to look up some tangents coming to mind.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, I guess, look up what companies, what are the predominant companies that produce plastic? Like, are there a set of predominant companies that produce plastic? Something like that. In the world? Yeah, sure. Of course, there must be, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there are several major companies that dominate the global plastic production. The industry is concentrated among a relatively small number of large petrochemical corporations, primarily based in North America, Europe, Middle East, and Asia. The largest plastic producers include Chinese companies like Sinopec and PetroChina have become dominant players, with China accounting for roughly 30% of global plastic production. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
When you think about how much plastic is used in things,
it's so nuts, and so you start to see that like that industry has consolidated a lot, right? So
yeah,
listen, I'm not like an industry expert on any of this stuff, but I was really interested in this idea of like how the plastics industry evolved,
yeah,
and then what might we learn from that
for sure
in software, right? And so there's like, and even just in terms of in our day-to-day lives, how like plastic plays a role, right? Like plastic became part of, people say software is eating the world. Like plastic's already eaten the world in a sense. Like everything around us is layered in it, right? Even the things that don't look like it, right?
Yeah, it's becoming more and more a part of our lives.
Yeah.
I just want to hit on this plastic thing because now you got me like my mind's looping.
Yeah, yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to know was what was the predominant material used in consumer products before plastic? Before plastics became widespread, consumer products were made from a diverse range of natural materials, each serving a different purpose. Wood was a dominant material for many household items. Wow. Furniture, utensils, containers, toys, and structural elements is abundant, workable, with simple tools, and renewable.
So the thing I took from this was, and this was one of the big unlocks of plastic, like why was plastic so important, is that before that, you needed to grow your raw material and then make the product, right? Now you don't, that limitation was gone. You could make products.
Sorry, say that again.
So like in order to, if wood was one of the biggest raw materials that people use to make products in their houses, furniture, whatever, right? And in order to do that, you need to grow trees.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a long production process, right?
Yeah.
So what with plastics, you can actually grow the raw materials or like create the raw materials you need to make products without having like a natural resource to draw on.
Really?
Right?
So can you look at how is plastic created too?
Yeah. I think that's
like, I guess, another core element. Well, I mean, of course, right? That's a huge cost, right?
It's a big unlock. Right now we can like make a lot more things faster.
Oh shit. Yeah, keep going.
So
plastic was created through a gradual process of scientific discovery and industrial development, fundamentally based on understanding and manipulating the molecular structure of carbon-based compounds. The foundational science begins with polymers, long chains of repeating molecular units called monomers. I hope I'm saying that shit right. Like natural polymers like cellulose, rubber, and proteins already existed, but creating synthetic ones required understanding how to link small molecules together artificially. The first breakthrough came in 1907 when Belgian-American chemist Leo Baekeland created Bakelite. Do you know all this shit, or is this new?
No, this is new. There's some part of this history
Yeah.
that I remember being a mistake. Like
Really?
it was being created for, like, in this time, this was all for the war. Like everything was being produced for the war. But PVC, or the first plastic, I don't know if this is true or not.
It says 1920s to 1930s, PVC, polystyrene, and early polyethylene.
Yeah, I would be interested to find out exactly what happened there. If I remember correctly.
Can you scroll down a bit too?
It was created, like they were trying to do something else, but they stumbled upon this material that had all these like interesting properties, and that became its own thing, right? It was a mistake. It was kind of like the Post-its example that people use, right? Like the glue that doesn't stick.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so the glue that binds Post-its together was designed to be a proper glue, but it was like this weird glue that
didn't work
stuck,
that well.
but then they found this like really interesting use case for it, right?
That's interesting.
PVC, I think, if I remember correctly, falls
Like
into
that.
that same like technology that was discovered by mistake.
Yeah.
But I would probably I would look that up.
The fundamental insight was that by controlling the size, structure, and cross-linking of these polymer chains, chemists could create materials with almost any desired properties: flexible or rigid, transparent or opaque, heat-resistant or biodegradable. This molecular level engineering is what made plastics so revolutionary and versatile. Plastics is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like it's just basically this like material that you can like generate with any, I don't know how the coloring and all that kind of stuff works, but what a huge effect on like the world.
Yeah, like it's the original like technology that ate the world. Like it's the thing for me that I think is the most likely to, like, when I think of software eating the world, that is like the analogy that to me is the closest. So, yeah. That's why I
doesn't plastic reduce your sperm count or something?
Yeah, I don't know. There's all this
There's
stuff
like
about microplastic. There's yeah. So there's this like whole part of in the essay was like, okay, just like any technology, it can do so many good things, but then overproduction of anything, what are the side effects, right? What are the negative side effects? So it's like you have like the plastic garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean. You have like microplastics in your balls, and like you have all of these like negative side effects. So what are the negative side effects for software, right?
Yeah.
I wrote this at a time when like it was very clear that social media, smartphones, and all of that stuff were like.
Well, yeah, this is 2019.
Yeah. Right.
So what he's saying is he references that video with the plastic thing, and he's basically, from what I'm understanding here, is he's basically saying that you create this new material which first starts by imitating the existing objects, but then after and we do that because we're just like, great, we have this new material, now we can create the things that we already use for like much cheaper and like more of it, right? So he like references like these two different telephones. One telephone, I don't know what telephones were made of before plastics, but one telephone looks like more of like an older telephone, and the other one looks like more like a modern one. Has like almost like a shell kind of like around. Yeah, see, there's that phone, and then he picks up this kind of like smoother, different kind of phone design, and he's basically saying like at first, the plastic might imitate things that we already use and produce them for cheaper, but then the quality of the material itself starts to dictate what is ultimately like created.
Yeah.
Right. And so you know, like the plants are plastic, like this random thing is plastic, like these little like things, like you can make new things because like something that you wouldn't even try before because it costs a certain amount of money to make it. Now you can make it because the cost of trying it has even gone down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the flexibility of what the material can do is like increased by a lot. So you can try all these other unexpected objects. And so it seems like what he's saying is that here it's like you have a screen and the screen is flexible in a way like plastic is, right? Like you can, like what's on the screen can change. Like, so I think he goes up, if you go up a bit, I think he's showing like an old version down. Yeah. If he's showing like an old version of Facebook. So I think that's Facebook, right? Yeah. So it has like, an image at the top. It's got like a profile, picture, and it's got like a place where you can post and see like some, data about the person. I think it like shows what school they've gone to and stuff like that. And so here the screen is displaying like a profile of an individual. And then if you scroll down, he shows like two images. One of them is like a physical calendar, and then the other is like this digital calendar. Now he's saying the screen can now become like a calendar, right? And this is a little bit different than thinking of like, you know, a TV or thinking of like a cinema, like if you go to a movie theater or something, those are screens too. But this is a little bit different because this is like a personalized screen, right? This is it has a property where it's like you use it a lot. Like it's your dedicated screen. Obviously here they're showing like a desktop. It's like a desktop calendar, but you know, like if you're talking about a phone is like a screen that you carry in your pocket, and it can continually like show you all of these different things. And then you can see here, it's like at first there's like a skeuomorphic kind of design, or maybe in a way, like I understand more simply, it's like the calendar tries to look like a physical calendar.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what this is, but this is like a pattern. I don't know if there's like an actual term for this, but I can just say that I think like early computers also imitated typewriters by a lot, right? Like I started to get into typewriters. I have this typewriter at home called an Olympia SM9, and I use it. When I started using it, it was a very eye-opening experience to use this. It's not this one, but if you go to the beige image with the green in the first row, the last image in the first row. Yeah, so this is the one I have. So nice. If you, it was a very interesting experience using this typewriter because I had never used a typewriter in my life. I think I got this like 2 or 3 years ago.
Why did you buy it?
I just got interested in the idea of typewriters. I was trying different kinds of writing tools. So I was like trying different kinds of text editors on my computer, all kinds of text editors. And I've been doing that for like a long time, different kinds of like distraction-free text editors and stuff like that. There's one called like, I would find all random pockets of.
There was one called iWriter back in the day.
Yeah, but that's like a popular one, right? Like I would find like obscure ones, you know, made by like just one developer or something. Like there's one. It's probably bigger now, but it's called Focuswriter. But there was others. Like I can't even remember. There was one other one I would use, which I can't remember the name right now, but it's good, and it's by this couple called 100 Rabbits.
Okay.
They're cool. They're like a designer, and they're like artists and engineers and designer, and they like just do like they make a lot of stuff from like a sailboat. If you go like travel.
Oh no way! That's really
yeah.
cool.
So this is like they just sail across the world.
Wow.
They've sailed in Japan, and at the bottom they have like computers and shit, and they're like making stuff. Very like inspiring people.
Wow.
And so they have a tool. They have a text editor. Yeah, that's them. I think they're from Montreal, but I could be wrong. 100 Rabbits. So if you go to, their ship is called Pinot. That's their sailboat. And you can like track it and stuff.
Oh, very cool.
But if you go to projects, it might be tough to find, man. Or left. There it is. So even like this one, right, is an example. So I used this. They have like different themes that you can get. It's really good. Basically, it's like a very, very simple text editor with like a cool minimal aesthetic. The theme and stuff that I have, I think looks better than the images they have here. But like on the left, you can have like a table of contents. So it's automatically like taking the markdown and interpreting it as like a table of contents on the left.
Yeah.
So I was like experimenting with these different writing tools. I find sometimes when I switch a tool, it gives me like a little bit of a hit. Like I feel kind of stuck in my writing or something, and I switch the tool and it helps. And so I was trying different text editors, and then I got something called the AlphaSmart Neo 2.
Okay.
So go to the images.
Oh, is this one of those?
So I got this, and I still have this, and I still have this. Go to the fourth image. Yeah, this is it. And I would write on this, and this is a device that's like awesome. You can type on it and stuff, and it saves files. So you can like open files and shit like that. It's got a couple of different apps on there, and so this piece of technology was created by, from what I remember, it was created by a team that was at Apple that left, and they decided to try and make a computer for kids. And so this was a classroom computer.
Oh, wow. This is cool.
Yeah. And so you'll see like this here, it says the AlphaSmart, like a $35 keyboard for children transformed me into a novelist. Like there's people that write on this for like distraction free writing. And I really, really like using this. It like focuses it like sentence by sentence. So I started writing on this for a bit, and then I guess this eventually obviously led me to like the next step, which is like typewriters, right?
Yeah.
And I went down that rabbit hole, and I started to see like, I think there was a documentary about this, but there's like some people that use typewriters like for writing as like part of their process. Like again, same thing, trying to find a tool that is like not as distracting. I think that's an interesting thing about like plastics or whatever, or like the screen in general.
Yeah, I'm curious how these different tools changed your style of writing.
Yeah.
Like when I look at this, I can imagine the affordances lead to a certain type of writing. When you write with a typewriter, I'm sure the font choice, the typography choice, that changes the tone of your writing. I'm sure does it have an effect for you?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, and that's another reason why I switch it up. It's like I switch it up for like a different tonality, but yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this in terms of like whether this is a distraction or not.
Yeah.
But sure. I think what's interesting, we can dive into that too, but I think what's interesting though, in terms of like what you were saying, like when you have this phone or these computers that can display essentially anything, that becomes a problem with it as well, because it's like, you know, it could be like a text editor, but then it's a calendar, then it's like my friends are on there, like it's so much shit. And I found myself really searching for like some kind of like focused environment. And so I went from here, and I was learning a lot through this process of using these different tools. It's like what you said. It's like it was changing my writing style, but also I think what was happening was I was becoming interested in how these different tools change the way I think and change the way I write. Like on like more like meta, I guess, right? Yeah. Where I was like actually kind of geeking on what these tools do, and as like creative tools. And then so I went from here, I started kind of going down the rabbit hole of typewriters, and there's like a lot of different typewriters, and this really opened my eyes a lot. Like I thought about like it, this was like a very, I guess, like inspiring experience, but also I still think about it. Like I don't think I've fully processed all of it. There's so many different typewriters. They have like different kinds of designs. There's like ones that were like, you know, like if you go back in time, like for a long, you can look this up, but like for a long period of time, typewriters were the predominant information-based tool, right? Yeah. Like you're talking about world wars and stuff like that, like high production environments, like people are just fucking typing on these typewriters, right? Like 1870s to the 1980s, like that's with their peak being from that's a long time. right?
Yes.
So this is the predominant device for a fucking huge amount of time, right? And so when I started diving into this, there's different manufacturers. There's like German ones, there's like Japanese, there's American, right? And you know, so I started saying, well, which one am I going to pick? I found like a typewriter store in Toronto, and then I went and I got one. And I got this Olympia SM9 after doing a bunch of research, if you pull this up. And so I haven't actually had a chance to talk about this. I just want to like this is like, or write about, this is like, yeah. So this typewriter, it kind of shocked me because I started typing on it and there's nothing for me to learn. I just said it, like I had to learn how to load the paper and stuff like that. But actually typing, I didn't need to fucking learn anything. That was the first insight I had because computers were created after typewriters. And so I think I can look into the history, but I would be surprised if it's not this. They were trying to, like, you have this computer, right? Like not computers, you have chips that can like do shit. You have like logic based things. Like you're like, oh, we can do these, like we can do like we can create an electronic machine that can do like thinking logic shit, right? Now we're going to package this into a consumer product. How do we do that, right? Or maybe keyboards came before it, but it's like the idea that they were like, they definitely, without a doubt, took this is a huge part of what a computer is today, is what
Absolutely.
I'm trying to say, right?
It was how people knew how to
exactly
to input stuff
exactly
into a machine. That
yes.
was the only way.
Yes.
To input text, I mean.
Yes.
It was the only interface.
Exactly. And so they, you know, so like that was an interesting thing first, right? And then the other thing that was interesting was this is, check when the Olympia SM9 was made. Yeah. Thanks, Tommy. So it's 1964, okay? I think, Tommy, you've seen this typewriter, right? And you've typed on it and shit.
Yeah.
So go back to the image. 1964, right? Mm-hmm. Mine is in like perfect condition. Like, and if you go to a typewriter store, there's a lot of them in good condition. So that was another thing. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm typing on this thing that was made in 1964 and it works perfectly, right? And the other thing was, it's not electric.
Yeah.
There's nothing to fucking plug in. So each one of these keys is mapped to like a little metal hammer. And when you're pushing the keys, it's like hitting metal hammers. And so this is like made so well. You know what I mean? It's made so well that you can still write documents on the thing. Right?
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to me. Like when I think of a computer, right? I've never used a typewriter before. So I didn't use a typewriter until I guess like 2 or 3 years ago. And so I'm using like a computer, and my relationship with a keyboard is something that's like digital and electronic and plastic, right? And then now I'm using this thing, and it's like it's so weird. I'm like, holy shit. It's this entirely mechanical thing that doesn't need to plug into anything. You can put it wherever you want, right?
Yeah.
It's just really interesting because it's so different than the way that the world works now.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no object like this anymore.
Yeah. There's so much there's something that you mentioned there around like the way that it was made. It was designed to have, you know, as few moving parts as possible so that it's as durable as possible. It stays for the longest time. And
this one has a lot of fucking moving parts, dude.
Well, relative to,
I don't know what it's relative to, but I'll just tell you, each one of those keys is mapped to like its own little hammer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a lot of moving parts or whatever.
Well, sorry, I don't want to say few or many. It's the number of moving parts it has inside of it have been tested and rigorously designed in a way that it can last, you know, X number of keystrokes, right? And it's just so wild to see how you have this older technology that because the materials that were used back then were built for durability. Like when you built around something that needed to be durable, you needed to be metal, right? It had to be. And metal has this property that it's like just extremely durable,
Yeah.
right? It goes through wartime, right? So maybe there's like parts in there that were like, okay, this needs to be extremely durable, so we have to use a material that is extremely durable. And plastic was not known for its durability back then.
Yeah.
Right? And it would be interesting to remake a typewriter with modern materials. And I'm curious whether they would use metal or something like carbon fiber for those, right?
Yeah.
And something that makes it more last longer.
I'm trying to think like what on here is plastic. And so
Isn't the casing plastic?
no, the casing's metal.
Oh, the casing is metal.
Casing's
too?
metal.
Oh, wow.
The switches or the
I was thinking maybe the keys and the rotator thing on the top right.
No, that might be rubber, right?
It might be, yeah. I'll bring it in one time. But yeah. Just maybe
That's
the keys.
so cool.
But I don't even know for sure.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
There's something you mentioned around kind of the shape of the typewriter informing the computer.
Yeah.
And it made me think back to that video where he talks about the shape of the phone that you buy, right? And there was a thought in my head that around like the early phones,
Mm-hmm.
right? What were they mimicking?
Yeah.
And they were mimicking like phonographs and
Oh.
like Alexander Graham Bell's first phone, like it would pick up audio. It had a horn shape, so it could pick up more audio, right? And then over time, you actually didn't need to make the casing special to pick up more audio, right? So you could literally have like a flat plastic casing
Yeah.
and pick up the same amount of audio. So you don't need to, like in those old phones, like if you've ever used one of those like rotary dial-up phones.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah. Like the bottom of them.
Yeah. This is the first phone. He's
This
talking
is-
about a rotary phone.
Yeah, like the bottom
Yeah.
of some rotary phones used to actually have like this plastic cup thing
Oh.
that would basically pick up more audio, right? So it would be able to send more signal. It's just wild, man. It's so crazy to see how like these phones were probably designed to mimic those phonographs,
Right.
and then they evolved to saying like, hey, we don't need to like change our plastic casing to
Yeah.
catch more audio. It's like the digital sensors can do a good enough job
Yeah.
that you can literally wrap it in anything and it's fine, right?
Is it possible to find like an archived video of like people in an office with typewriters? Just like, I don't know, just like a bunch of people typing on typewriters in an office. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering like what archived video of typewriters.
Probably from like the 60s.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm thinking of Mad Men.
Film Fields of Typing. Oh.
This is funny.
So you'd be trained.
Yeah, you would have.
So what was it, 100 years? Yeah. How long have computers been around? Has it been
Computers-
100 years? No.
No.
I'm an idiot, man.
In like 50s and 60s.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
consumer later than that.
Yeah, consumer later. It's like they were picked up by business.
Like I think typewriter, it's like, I think when they're talking about 100 years, it's like 100 years of a consumer thing because it was typewriter from the beginning. It's
Yeah.
not like they were fucking huge typewriters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there were huge computers.
They were heavy though. The earliest ones.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were really heavy.
We see this like
Typewriters.
NHL thing.
Wait, what?
Oh, your start menu came up there.
Centering letters on the page.
My dad took like
An experienced
a shorthand
typist can do it without counting spaces or
when he was
words.
learning how to type and stuff like that. It was
Every kind of copy typing has its own rules for format and spacing. Newspapers and magazine copy is
Yeah.
usually
people used to put on their resumes how many words they could type a minute,
margins are
Yeah.
right? That was like part of their skill
When
set.
typing a second draft,
And
the typist has to understand
and that's
the
short.
marks.
I think that's shorthand,
start a new paragraph here.
right? These like editing marks and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's all of this like special language that you needed to know. This is like the early programming language,
Yeah.
right?
The other interesting thing here is that if they make an error, right, you gotta like throw out the page.
Yeah, you throw out the page. I think some typewriters, I don't know if yours had one, was like a strike through.
No, I don't have a strike through, but what a common pattern that happens is like you just go back
Yeah,
and then you just push X
Right.
on top of the
on
key.
top of the thing. Yeah,
And like yeah, it adds like a unique quality to it, because you can see, like, if you write someone a note, you can see it like X'd out.
that's chain. That's the first like idea of like how a screen
Yeah.
is different from paper.
Yeah.
Is that you could change it.
Yeah, you could just backspace
You
it.
could just backspace and delete it.
Yeah. Now, what was the first? Can you find any video footage of the first word processor? Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting, man. This idea of like that's what you were saying. It's like a continual pattern of imitation,
So
right?
it's this, yeah, the pattern of imitation. It's this idea that like first you like understand the affordances of a medium, and then you build the thing that can only be done in that medium. And you know, there's like, it's just this, it's funny, like I think about like progress. People used to think that like that first stage is a waste, but
What's the first stage?
the first stage of basically like copying what already exists using the new medium,
Yeah.
right? And especially now, like especially with this like investor centric mindset,
Like, what is that?
that this idea that like, hey, you should always go the thing that works is the native version of the thing, because everyone is so inundated with like the best practices, the things that make money, the things that like, right? And so everyone is always like hyper focused on doing things that is has like an investment lens to it, like there's a return on the investment. So
Okay.
it's like, why would I waste doing things in a non AI native way when I can do things in an AI native way, right? Like,
What's a simpler way of saying that?
well, I'm basically saying that like, I think there's
because you said two different things there. You said the core of what you're trying to say is, I think, like the first stage, when a new technology or a new material emerges, the first stage is imitation,
yes,
and most people write off that stage and say it's not valuable or something.
it's not yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that I just see that that's the only way that progress can happen. Like, you have to first do the things that you know. It sounds so obvious to say, but
Why? I'm sorry. I'm trying
it
to
sounds
understand.
so obvious to say that like, hey, first you have to do this bunch of throwaway work, essentially.
Yeah.
First you do things in this new medium by mimicking this old medium, and it may not be the best way to do those things. It may not be the best use of that technology. It may not be the use of the technology that actually produces the most capital outcome for you, but you have to do it, right? And I think there's a general sense that like, well, that feels like a waste, but I don't think that's the case, because like you can't really fully stretch the limits of what this thing is without actually using it to make something,
Yeah.
right? Like, and again, it sounds a bit esoteric, but like, without understanding how a medium can be used to make anything, you
can't push its limits.
You can't push it to its limits, right? And so people are I think there's at least maybe I'm being overly generic by saying like people are like this, but I don't see that as a waste. I see this as a common pattern play out, and it's almost a necessary step that you have to take,
Yeah.
right? And sure, maybe the large capital outcomes are not in that intermediate stage. They're more in the kind of the stage when you take something and you invent something net new out of it, but you cannot do those things without having like doing the preliminary work at all of exploring, right? And so,
Have you thought about it at all in terms of like AI and these new technologies?
yeah,
Like what is
totally.
what is like, what do you think is the,
Yeah, like, I mean, I think about it as, AI first kind of being used to create things that we've already created. Right?
is something like ChatGPT like an imitation of something? I guess, right?
I think
Or is it something on its own?
something, I don't know, that's an interesting way of framing it. Like ChatGPT specifically is a machine that can talk back to you. Like I don't know if it's necessarily an imitation, but it definitely is the first way to highlight. I see it as a way of saying like, okay, an LLM is a token predictor, right? So what is the best way to see how that can be used? By like the best way to do that is just create a simple interface where you can send it tokens and it can send you tokens back. And that happens to look like a chat interface because we've designed it in a way where on one side, like it looks like a conversation between two people or two parties, right? So we've actually given the AI we've personified it in a sense,
Yeah.
right? But there's no personality there. It's just a box, right? We could have put those, if we like laid out, if ChatGPT, for example, was laid out in a way where like first your tokens and then on the side it was the machine's tokens and then your tokens, and on the side it would look less like a conversation, right? But it would still show the effect. It may be an even more effective way of showing what an LLM is capable of. So
Can you look up sorry, I know you just looked up the word processor. Sorry, Tommy.
No.
What is plastic fundamentally?
like at the molecular level?
No, like no, sorry. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Caveat or whatever. It would be like, what is plastic fundamentally in terms of its relationship to a human's day-to-day life? Yeah, this is the problem. When you ask that's why Tarun said like molecularly, right? So it's like, what is plastic fundamentally in relation to a human's day-to-day life?
As you're looking that up, there's a thought that I just want to get out here.
Yeah.
Is that plastic became everything and then it became nothing,
Yeah.
right? And maybe that speaks to this. But because it's pervasive, it doesn't actually have a label. Everything is it. So you don't have to say it's a plastic bottle or a plastic cup. It's just a bottle or a cup or this or that, right? And I think that's an interesting change that happened.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know exactly when it happened, but I'm sure it started off like saying this is a plastic thing, and then it just
Maybe
the plastic label of it.
Oh
came
yeah,
off,
yeah.
right?
I see. Yes.
Exactly, because it was just not necessary.
So this is interesting. I didn't expect it to say this, like something like this. It sounds like it's we'll see. We'll read it, but it sounds like it's talking about artificial intelligence. Fundamentally, plastic in your daily life is stored human labor and energy. It's a way of capturing industrial processes and making them into permanent reusable forms that replace tasks you otherwise have to do repeatedly. Every plastic object around you represents someone else's work that you no longer have to perform. A plastic water bottle means you don't have to walk to a well, carry heavy containers, or wash and refill glass bottles daily. Plastic food packaging means farmers and food processors have done the work of preservation for you, extending shelf life so you don't have to shop daily or preserve food yourself. At its core, plastic is convenience materialized. It's the physical embodiment of trading a small upfront cost for avoiding ongoing effort. Your plastic phone case means you don't have to be constantly careful with that inexpensive device. Plastic storage containers means you don't have to cook fresh meals every single time you're hungry. Fundamentally, plastic has restructured human daily life by externalizing maintenance. Instead of spending time maintaining, cleaning, repairing, and replacing natural materials, wood, metal, glass, fabric, you use something once and throw it away, or use something that requires virtually no upkeep. This creates a fundamental tension in modern life. Plastic makes individual daily tasks effortless, but collectively creates a maintenance problem at civilization scale, dealing with waste, environmental impact, and resource depletion. You've traded personal daily maintenance for species level maintenance challenges. Kind of eerie the way it's writing that. So plastic is fundamentally a time-shifting technology. It lets you avoid small daily efforts by accepting larger delayed consequences.
Oh my God.
What?
That's insane. That's insane.
Your mind just blew up.
That's insane. I've never thought of it like that, but it like
There's a lot of things like that.
there's
It's interesting to think about that in context of AI. Because that's the criticism of like using these like LLMs and stuff like that, right? It's like it's convenience materialized,
yes,
right? And people are like, oh yeah, I'm learning so fast or whatever. And the criticism of it is that, there's something that's lost, right?
There's
a civilization scale, unseen civilization scale problem that's developing, but we don't see it yet because we're in the early stages of just like using this thing. But it's interesting.
The thing that comes to mind with software and this concept is like this concept of like plastic being convenience materialized in the world of software has something to do with the themes of attention, right? Addiction.
Wait, what?
With like being addicted to your convenience materialized in a digital sense is essentially the consumption of attention, right? Like the things that a screen is really, really good at doing is changing itself in a way that consumes your mental power, your mental capacity.
Okay.
By becoming so engaging.
Yeah.
By becoming so hitting on every single dopamine receptor that you have in a way that like it will do whatever you want it to do to keep itself engaged with you.
Or keep you engaged with it.
Keep you engaged with it. Sorry. Yeah. That's funny. It's a funny like flip.
But yeah, what's your
So I'm thinking about the idea of how like plastic created this huge convenience, this personal convenience, but it created this like societal problem of waste.
Yeah.
Right. And in software you create a lot of personal convenience, but it creates a societal problem of attention.
Yeah.
Now,
attention
like,
waste.
Our attention is not, we cannot like put our attention towards the things that matter collectively as a society. And the idea that like, let's say climate change, let's say there's a number of other like world level issues. We cannot direct our attention towards the things that the world collectively needs because our machines have generally consumed our attention. Like the physics of it, the amount of time in the day, the amount of waking hours in the day are being consumed by things that are generally not productive.
Yeah.
Right. Or without doing this without the numbers and stuff, like number of waking hours of like 8 billion people, like whatever number of adults are in a day versus how much time is spent on, YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, all these places. Right. And then you have the amount of time that you need to actually potentially solve some of these like large scale problems. I see that's the
or other things,
or other things, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
looking in the moment,
and again, like, listen, there's lots of amazing things that come from being on your screen too. Like there's right. So, and I think this is the book, that book, World After Capital by Albert Wayne.
Yeah, I know.
He talks about this concept so much. He talks about basically attention being the scarce resource, right? This idea that like attention is now the thing that is scarce and capital is the thing that is generally abundant, right? So, and we cannot focus our collective efforts on the things that matter the most because we've created these machines that are really good at sucking our attention away, right? So
yeah, so I wonder if there's, not to just like cop out of this or something, but it's like, are there any examples, like if you continue in this thread, are there any examples of times where a technological invention has created situations like this, but we have been able to move past and solve them at scale?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm trying to think.
I don't know, man. I've never really thought
at
about
this scale. I think that's a good
I've
question.
never thought about
at
this
this
stuff much.
scale.
The most direct parallel is lead pollution from gasoline. For decades,
I was thinking, yeah, transportation.
tetrathyl lead was added to gasoline to prevent engine knocking, creating a massive public health crisis as lead accumulated in the environment and human bodies. The problem seemed intractable because it was woven into the entire transportation system. But through a combination of regulation, technological innovation, catalytic converters that required unleaded, that's why they always say unleaded gas now,
Yeah.
and economic incentives, lead was phased out of gasoline globally. Blood lead levels in children dropped dramatically, and the problem was essentially solved at scale. The London smog crisis is another example. Coal burning for heating and industry created deadly air pollution that killed thousands in events like the Great Smog of 1952. Holy.
Wow.
Did you know about this?
No, I mean, I don't know why I didn't think of COVID,
Yeah.
right? It feels like that was an amazing example of that.
Yeah.
Probably the first mass, like global level event in a networked world, right? So like the first event of this nature that happened when we had Twitter and Facebook that actually allows us to, like, when information flows faster, progress moves faster, and then solutions move faster. So it's like that's probably the example I would go to. Like, there's everything before social networking, and then also everything or basically everything after like modern media, I guess.
The difference, I guess, is these in these situations, outside of maybe ozone depletion, these situations are like very real, immediately pressing situations. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, the lead levels in humans, it's like immediately pressing, right?
Oh, you can detect it immediately as
it's like the blood. Yeah, thanks, man. The blood lead levels in children drop. Like, this is like a serious thing. The London smog, like, people are dying. Here you got like ozone depletion. We'll pocket that for a sec. And then it says industrial water pollution in developed countries have been largely addressed through wastewater treatment technology. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that something like the plastics, I haven't even thought about the implications. Like, I think what it said was there was like a lot of waste. Yeah. I've never really looked into like it's kind of fucked up, but I've never looked into like where all this plastic is going or like where it is, you know? So it's like in my day-to-day life, it's this unseen cost. And the same thing with like when you're on your phone and like, you know, you have this like screen that can essentially display anything. And now companies are displaying it in ways that continually capture your attention. It's like all an unseen cost. The only time I really think about it is when my screen time report comes on. And then still I'm quick to dismiss that because I don't really want to see it. But it's like this unseen kind of cost, which is like different than you have like this smog thing and like, you know, you can't breathe. It's like very, very much like a seen cost, a felt cost. Well,
felt after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Feels invisible until you notice it, which sounds obvious, but
sometimes you notice the attention thing from your friends telling you or your family telling you. Like, my kids have told me sometimes.
Yeah,
I know that hits hard. Like, that really hits hard when they're like, "Oh, Dad, get off your phone." Even if they just say that, like, just casually.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. It just hits hard.
Yeah, for sure.
That stuff, and so I see that it's a different effect. It's not a physical effect. It's an emotional one, but you still sort of end up in that place. And just like you said around screen time, you see it and you're like, okay, it's fine. I'll solve it another day, or I'll fix it another day. Or you find an excuse to just be dismissive of it.
Yeah.
Because the convenience factor is so high. You're just like, well, you know, if you're watching something engaging and it's like really interesting or educational or whatever, you're just like, hey, yeah, there's a lot of good coming from this. And I'll just accept the downsides.
So what do you think is like happening with what do you think is happening with like all of this new AI based technology? Like, what do you think are because like there's like a general way of asking this question, and honestly, like for me, it's kind of like uninteresting, because it's like the kind of like you're saying like, oh, there's this new like tech, where is it going, and all this shit. It's like not really interesting to me. I guess the simplest way of asking it is like, are there any ways in which you're seeing like LLMs or agents or whatever you define as like AI? Are there any like specifically interesting things that you're seeing, like specific apps that have caught your attention that make you think about where like how software might evolve or how technology might evolve? Like what specific apps are like intriguing to you right now?
So the way I would actually answer this is by like talking about the apps that I want to exist, or that I know that can exist. So I'm just going to go through like a bunch of ideas.
Yeah, sure.
So when I first discovered, like when LLMs were first coming out, right, and specifically like diffusion models, right, I was like, this is crazy, right? You can just like say something and an image will pop up, right?
Yeah.
And the quality of those images weren't really that great. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. But like, if you're making like an piece of abstract art, that would be really cool, right? So I built this app called Fresco, and it was like, you could just type and it would create an artwork in a specific style, or it'd be like a Basquiat or a Frida Kahlo or an impressionist painting. And it was like, A, a way for me to learn about diffusion models, but also B, was a way for me to learn about like this new like front end technology I was interested in. So I was like, okay, cool, I can like learn about this thing.
Yeah.
And then I built this, and it was like, oh, I was able to do something that there was literally no way I could have generated this image programmatically. It was just zero way to do that.
Yeah.
And within a couple of weeks, I had this like functional thing. I ended up like adding a button where you could like literally buy a print of it. Like you could like take it and you could buy a print of it. The other one that I think about a lot, and I think I've talked to you about, is when my kids were like learning how to read, right? And I found out that our like school system's like reading program wasn't that great, and I was like, took it on myself, because I was like, this is really essential. What I wanted to see was like an app where I could literally like, it was a camera that I just wanted to like face, you know, be basically like you open the app and you see your own face, right? And then underneath it you see a word, and as you're pronouncing that word, it's like highlighting the word, and it's telling you whether or not you said it correctly or not. And it would like progressively go from like easy words to more difficult words, and then there would be sentences and things like that. But this like visual feedback of constantly like pronouncing something and then being able to interpret that and give you that feedback loop, I was like, that is something that needs to exist. I didn't know how to build it myself, but I didn't build it. I still think that someone is going to go out there and build it. There's actually a couple of apps that did something similar to this, where they helped create, they basically created, what was it called? I think it was Project Read or something like that, where it was literally like a video. You would say a sentence, and these kids would learn how to read the sentence. Yeah, it was called Project Read. Yeah.
An AI story generator?
Yeah, it was something like this. And so what they did was, you would essentially create a story for a kid at a certain level, right? And then you would
grades you teach.
Yeah, I think this is like designed for teachers. And then you could also focus it on specific parts of the like phonemes, like the different like sounds that you make with the alphabet that you are having, like your kids are having trouble with, or you are trying to get your kids to learn about. And then it would create the story with all of those specific phonemes and sounds. And then as the kids were reading it, it would record that audio. It would point out which words that they were getting right and which ones they weren't getting wrong. And they got immediate phonetic feedback on it. And so they found that like people were just able to learn really, really, really quickly. And so that's one thing that I find with AI is that it can meet you where you are really quickly.
Yeah.
It can give you these like mini ramps to like learning about a subject matter and give you these like learning ramps where you can say, I can go from like here to here really, really, really quickly. And and if you like design the right app in the right way, you can like make that a really powerful like feedback loop and stuff like that. But I don't know of any technology that can meet humans where they are like AI. Like I don't. And because
well, that was the role of humans, right? Well, hold on. Before I say that, screens kind of did that, right? Screens were kind of meeting humans where they were at, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Like by screens, I mean saying it more directly. Like when we went from like when you pulled up the image of the first word processor. I don't know if you still have that. It's like this very like technical interface, like this one. Let's say, for example, this is interesting when you compare it back to the typewriter because this looks more complex than the typewriter, right? Because with a typewriter, there's a whole bunch of things that you don't actually need to design for. For example, like you don't need to have like some button and sequence of keys to like load a paper in.
Yeah.
You just fucking grab it with your hands, you put it in. You got to learn the like things, but it takes like 2 minutes or whatever to figure it out, right? You don't have to like design for someone knowing how to like flip a switch and like take the paper out. But here you have to design for that, right? You have to like, how do you create a new file? It's not just typing on a screen, right? Oh, I want to save this, right? If you're saving with a typewriter, it's like you just put it in a specific drawer, right?
It speaks to that functional thing that, you know, you talk about a screen is able to do all of the things. Like it can be a typewriter, it can be this and that. And so people have created all these menus and things that are supposed to be about the core asset, but it ends up just distracting you. There's so much like all of these menus that are just at the top of your word processor. It just takes away from the actual work itself.
Yes.
Because of all these options that you're able to do, even though you may not need them.
Yes. So this interface is not meeting the user where they're at in some ways, right? The user has to figure out how this software works and has to rise to the level of the nuance of the interface, right? And so then we went from here, we went to like graphical user interfaces, right? And then we start to meet the user where they're at, right? So I don't know if you could search like early graphical user interfaces or whatever, or early Mac if you want. And so example there is like they start using like here. So we're starting to meet the user where they're at now, right? Here's a folder, right? It looks like a folder. It's like take this file and drag it into the folder. See, it's just like how you put a folder into it. It's just like you take a paper and you put it in your folder. So we're making the commands and stuff bring it closer to where the user is at, right? And the way we do that is we do it. Oh, fuck. Yeah. The way we do it is by mimicking the real world, right? Hold on one sec. Let me finish this thought. We do it by mimicking the real world, right? So that's how we meet the user where they're at, right? And we've gotten like better and better at this. And then, you know, when you get to the phone, right? When you have a phone, if you go to an older like Palm Pilot, like PALM, fucking Gen Z motherfucker here. So go to images,
What the fuck?
Had to, man. Had to. Okay. So like, here, yeah. So now here, you have like this pen stylus thing, but then if you go, there's probably better examples of this. But here if you go here, sorry, buddy. If you go to the third row, third image, there's another one, right?
BlackBerry. Is that a BlackBerry?
No, it's a Palm Trio. So you can look up BlackBerry now too, right? Which is like, I guess, like also no, you just type in BlackBerry.
I don't know if that's gonna.
Oh, sorry. Give me a BlackBerry Q.
Q?
Yeah, 10, sure. Yeah, so here's another one. Right. So they're taking the keyboard input from the computer, right, and they're like now just making it like smaller keys. Again, referencing like what happened, like referencing like a keyboard, right? And so then you get like that capacitive touch screen iPhone, right? And again, we're bringing it closer to we're bringing it much closer to like meeting the user where they're at, right? Where they're like, now you're like touching and moving things around, right? You're like literally like dragging things.
Spatial.
It's more like, I don't know if it'd be, maybe spatial.
Well,
I don't know if that's a correct term.
It's easier to understand.
Right.
Things moving around like that versus having to write commands or like understand a new shortcut menu.
Totally. Well, like let's say you wanted to like zoom into something, right? Maybe you have like a little wheel or something that allows you to zoom in because like the screen can't do it or it doesn't do it like well. But now it's like, you know, with the like a capacitive touchscreen that responds so well, it's like you could like literally do opens like new gestures and stuff. You know, the same way, like if you have a paper, you know, you can like rip it or whatever, right? It's like it gave you gestures of manipulating a screen that felt more like day-to-day life, meeting you where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And so, this AI thing, like you said, it's like the most meeting you where you're at. But what's interesting about it is that it's following, this is just a riff, but it's following a similar pattern where it's like mimicking things, and the thing it's mimicking is us, right? So you have this like a calendar, and then you like mimic like you have a fucking desktop MacBook and it like mimics a calendar on a screen. This thing, because it can like generate images and voice and shit, it's mimicking us, because like that's what we understand. But it's fucked up because like that's like the first stage of this thing. It's not, you know what I mean? It's like it's like and so what happens what happens is you know, eventually it's like going to start by mimicking us. So it's like, hey, you know, like has this conversation and speaks in like English or whatever. But then obviously it's going to be like, well, why the fuck is it mimicking us? Because there's limitations to this design. So then maybe it's like, yo, do your own thing. Right. And then that, however that the material property of what that thing is, like whatever artificial intelligence really is, becomes like ends up like shaping the same the world.
It's gonna make its own language.
Yeah, it could make its own language, or if you think about it could make its own language for sure. But another like way to think about it, I guess, is like one sec. It's like if you think about plastic, right? It's like material. Convenience materialized, right? It's like this like layer of, it's like this this is a stretch, but it's like a species, man. Or it's like some kind of organism or something.
Say more.
Yeah, so it's like this additional layer. It's this additional thing. Maybe not species, but it's like this additional thing that enables you to create all of these other things that fundamentally shift like human life. Like it takes care of things for you, right? Like things that you need. Like we have this like screen, it's like displayed, it's made out of plastic. Like it enables new kinds of experiences. It enables new kinds of like functional abilities, right? And so and it's like it's in so many, it's in our clothes. It's like, it's so baked into what we're doing every day in everyday life. It's like in our bodies. The material is literally in our bodies. So it's a completely intertwined with what, like, being a human. And so I don't think, like, one way to look at it is like it'll make its own language, but I think that's actually like still looking at it from the perspective of like it's an application of AI. It's an application of plastic. I think more, I think what's happening is like it'll interweave itself with every aspect of like human life. Like it'll be in our minds. It'll be in our bodies. It'll be like it'll be touching every single aspect until it's like this additional layer. It's this additional, always persistent thing that's like so baked in to the day-to-day experience. But I also think that it's like, I think about, you could look at it in terms of like, it'll create its own language. Sorry, I'm just like, that was like a really useful point. But I think like, you got to like even like step out of the box a little bit even more. And so right now it's imitating us, but because of what it can do, right? It's like, it's this kind of thing that seems like it's like intelligence, right? It can like think and like get you, or not, whatever. It feels like it can fucking do things, right? It feels it can give you things back, right? It can give you images back. It can give you thoughts back in the same way that a human being can, right? And so right now it's like the thing that it's doing is it's a lower cost way of producing the things that the human being does, right? Yeah. So what a human being does is it says shit, it makes images, it makes videos, it talks back to you when you talk to it. It reasons, right? Yeah. But I'm saying like, let's say even reasons, let's say that can be like a little bit abstract, right? Yeah. Let's just say like very basic, right? Like if I talk to you, like you talk back to me, right? And so this like maybe reasons, whatever. Yeah. It's like, there's something fundamental there, right? This new like material property that it does, right? Maybe reasons is the right word. But what it's doing right now is it's using that and it's imitating something we already know, which is, hey man, when I talk to a human being, they talk back. This is the tonality of their voice. It's imitating. It can do like different voices and stuff, but it's like sounds like, right now it sounds like a human.
It's imitating a conversation.
It's imitating a conversation, right?
Right, and but what if that is not?
Yeah. So it's imitating the things that we already know. Just like plastic was imitating things that we already knew we needed, right? Just like a computer is imitating like a typewriter, right? And like a desktop, a software calendar is imitating like a physical calendar, right? It's imitating all these things. So it's imitating now, but eventually it's going to go and become its own thing. It's going to go beyond that imitation, and you're going to start looking at like, well, what if we are why are we imitating humans? Maybe we should not. Maybe we should try something else. And I think that's really interesting because we've never had, I don't know of something that imitated us. It imitated like we've had technology that's imitated like frameworks or tools, like a calendar, for example.
Yeah,
is like a framework of viewing time. It's like, hey man, we're gonna split the month into this many days. We're gonna put it on a paper calendar so you can buy it and you can like write shit in it. We're gonna put like areas for you to write. It's imitating like a tool, but we never had something like imitate, like, yeah, just like us.
I think of like industrial tools, but that's not exactly.
Yeah, that could be close, but nothing where it's like
that's hyper specific to like a certain process.
Yeah, or imitated like a conversation.
Yeah, we haven't had anything like that.
You know?
Chatbots.
Yeah, I don't think anything has anything close to a level of conscious. Any technology, I'm just thinking out loud here, is what technology has come closest to consciousness?
I don't think it has consciousness.
No, but the closeness to it.
No,
right?
so
the closeness to it is as in like imitation is the only way you can manifest that is by, or imitating humans, for example. The only way that can be manifested is by having this idea or something that is the essence of human, which is consciousness, which is like the sense of aliveness.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe aliveness is the right.
I don't know if it has that, but I think that we can feel it has that.
It feels like it.
No, I don't know if it does, but maybe to us as the user.
It feels like it's an it, right?
Something like that. The thing I think actually that's worth investigating maybe to understand this is like plastic plants.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a plastic plant is not a plant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it's just not a plant. It's not alive.
Yeah.
But like you can put it in your place if you know what I mean? If you think, you can give you the feeling of like, oh, there's like plants and shit in here.
Did you see that comic about LLMs when someone made an LLM about, or a comic from the perspective of the LLM, and what would that comic look like?
No, I haven't seen it.
You got to check this out.
Comic from the perspective.
You probably have to find it on X. The problem with that is it's impossible.
Yeah. Do you know who?
If you actually just search for that on X, wait,
I got you.
it's like LLM comic, or just maybe personifying LLM maybe.
Twitter search.
Anyways, yeah, what I was saying was that I don't think that while he's searching, I don't think that
actually, can I search? Can I find it?
Yeah, sure.
I might be able to find it because I think I sent it to a friend recently.
Yeah, it's just interesting to think what it's going to be like.
Oh, here, I got it.
It's
You sent it to me?
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now.
it's the quantity of it too. Like when plastic started to emerge, I'm assuming like whatever was being made could be produced at like much larger quantities, obviously.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. I don't know like what was like the first few things, but yeah.
No, so that's
like furniture actually was one of the first things. It was like you can make a ton more furniture than you could before.
So take every human experience, or take human experiences, and imagine that you can create plastic versions of them. So like, and like at scale. So it's like a conversation, right? It's like you need to go to a friend to have a conversation. Now you don't. Now you don't. So that's so now relationships, love,
loneliness,
love. You need to go to a human person to do that. No, you don't.
Connection, belonging,
community. Because it's like right now, it's like our experiences with LLMs are like 1-to-1, which is like we talk to this one entity. It's back and forth, and we like evaluate it based on this. It's interesting. We're like, Claude is like this, and ChatGPT is like this, and Grok is like this, right? And they kind of have like a style to them, and it's like a very like one entity kind of relationship. But man, like it's totally like the next thing is gonna just be like one-to-many experimentation. Completely. It's like why like you know what I mean? Like why have this like one person that you talk to when it can like simulate like a friend group, right? And so like so think about. A friend group, like
totally. There's this pattern. You talked about this pattern of kind of like, I don't know if you said it exactly like this, but you talked about this pattern of like technology is constantly becoming closer to us, or the fact that like an AI is basically meeting us where we are is part of a pattern, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's all of the physical parts of it, all of the physical distance we had with a computer, voice, like the primary interface was like touching and seeing a computer. Now we can talk to it. Now we can wear it. Now we can touch. Like there's so many more senses we can use to control and learn from the computer, right? So all of the inputs and outputs are there, except for maybe smell.
Yeah.
Right? And even that, there's like some really interesting companies doing some cool shit about that. But there's like
fucking AI farts and shit.
Yeah, AI fart. Yeah. This is
prompt
the comic
smell.
I was talking about.
Yo, have you seen that new Claude fucking?
You smell that new Claude scent. You smell like grog, bro.
Damn, man.
Yeah, no. Anyways, that was this like thread of basically using AI as like one step in the arc of like technology just constantly moving closer to us. And then I think what you're saying, at least this is how I'm interpreting it, is that like now there's a new frontier, and that frontier is actually your emotions. Like that's something past technologies haven't really been able to mimic.
Right.
Now we can mimic emotion.
Yeah.
Through AI.
We've been mimicking emotion though, right? Like in film, in games. I think games is like the first example that comes to my mind. But it's not as like this is the highest fidelity we've been able to mimic it.
No, I don't know if I would say, like, what do you mean by mimicking it in games and stuff? Like, you mean when you're playing a game?
When you're playing a game, so like I think we said it earlier, like when you're like the one
like relating to the character or something.
Yeah, relating to the characters.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, But then now, like the capabilities of like what those, to my mind, I'm just gonna say it simply, it's like NPCs, right? Like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I think like that is like in that situation, it's like if you think about a game like Grand Theft Auto, I don't know what's an example of a game to you that like
Animal Crossing.
Okay, Animal Crossing. They have NPCs in that one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. Okay, so if you think about a game like that, right? Like where you have a character and then there's like non-playable characters in the game and they're like kind of like roaming around doing shit. And your relationship with these like non-playable characters is like defined within the story. It's like this is in the case of Animal Crossing, which is like a game where you go to some island or some shit and like you start a farm. I don't know, but there's like a guy on there. I think that's like a counselor or something, or like a leader, camp leader or some shit. This raccoon guy.
Tom Nook.
Tom Nook. Tom Nook. Yeah, I played this game for a bit.
Is this a kids game or is it just a regular game that like has a bunch of these characters?
No, it's like played by kids but also by adults. It's like very well. It's like
I've heard of it.
Critically well received.
I've heard.
It's not my kind of game, but it's like an amazing game.
Oh, cool.
And so the so you have like these non-playable characters, or like in Grand Theft Auto, for example, you know you're in like a full-out city where there's like many like other characters and stuff like that, and they're doing stuff, right? You got to go to like Grand Theft Auto City, random image, NPCs. Oh, yeah. Anyways, there's like people there that are like doing stuff, and it makes you feel like things are happening. Like people are like walking around, you know, like you're driving, and then like you're driving in like a, you know, like maybe on like a busy street, and you see people like walking around and stuff like that, doing things. It makes you feel like there's like stuff happening. And yeah, I guess that's like trying to simulate. Yeah, it makes you right. The highest fidelity. Yeah, I think that's the right way of saying it. Like, it's like you're trying to simulate the character yourself in relation to a world, and that world is not just physical environments, but there's like other living creatures, other living things in that world.
They have the ability to reason, because these guys, like, if you just look at this photo, like these guys are just prompted by like proximity, and then they usually only have like one voice line. They're like, hey, watch where you're going.
Yeah.
But now imagine like
totally
we're at the fidelity where like this guy can reason.
Yeah.
You can straight up talk to him.
Yeah. And
have you played any games that have leveraged, like, used AI
no,
to its
yeah.
fullest extent?
No,
Like, what
no, I don't
games are
think there's
doing that
any
right
game
now?
out that has done that. But I think the game that will do that is Grand Theft Auto 6.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I think that's
That'd
going
be
to
sick.
No, I think that's going to be the game, because they've consistently pushed technology, and I think this is going to be the game where they really it really blows your mind in terms of what's possible with, you know, just like creating an immersive world. The other thing that people don't fully appreciate about Grand Theft Auto is like, or I mean, maybe I don't know if they fully appreciate, but it's just something that I thought about recently, is like the distance between these games is like many years. Like there'll be like a huge gap between how long they make the game, but then they'll release like 3 or 4 of them. And so people, you know, like there's Grand Theft Auto 5. We've been waiting, I don't know how long, for Grand Theft Auto 6. And people just think of it as a Grand Theft Auto 6. But actually what's happening here, from what I understand, is they're not just creating the game, they're creating an entirely new engine. Right? They're creating a whole new like technological foundation that this game is built on top of. That's why it's taking a long time. If they were just making Grand Theft Auto 6 that is built on top of the same engine as Grand Theft Auto 5, it's not going to take you like 10 years or whatever. You know what I mean? Because that's coming up with a new narrative, that's coming up with new characters. But what's happening is they're building a fundamentally different engine. And then the engine results in like 3-4 games.
Yeah.
Right. And so you get like Grand Theft Auto 7 out of that, Grand Theft Auto 8, but then you also get like other properties, like other worlds. Right. So I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is created with the fundamental engine of Grand Theft Auto 5. Right. And so it's really interesting because games are very complex and they are essentially created to use state-of-the-art technology to simulate an interactive world. Right. And that's why I think what Tommy's saying is really interesting here. It's like these games have simulated like a relationship with multiple people before, but they've always, because these relationships have to be handled programmatically, like in like more deterministically, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like if you look at like Grand Theft Auto 5, it's like you got these 3 characters that you have a really deep and nuanced relationship with, because everything has to be like written out and scripted, right? Like we need to manually add depth to these like character relationships.
It takes a lot of work to
Exactly.
do that and to make it even seem like partially realistic.
Yes. And so these are like, it's like films, right? These are like screens and scripts and this is scripts that have been written, characters that have been developed, right? And they cannot like generate dialogue like autonomously, right? And so now it's like really interesting because when you have this technology that can simulate this stuff, it's like really like when you have like something that can like, you know, like hold a conversation no matter how you take it. It's really interesting to see how that's going to influence games. And I think the if you think about, so I'm just going to continue.
Yeah. I mean, I have some follow-ups for you. 'Cause like, I think as someone who has made films, how does that change how you think about that? And also I'm really curious about like what you think about the fact that anyone can do this now, or not anyone can do like make a GTA style game, but like people can create these worlds much easier.
Yeah. I think, with the film stuff specifically, like I don't really know where that is going. I just genuinely don't really know. It's kind of outside of my, like I can't like really pattern match it and think of like, I'm not getting any interesting ideas about it for some reason.
Okay.
Like it just seems like, and maybe this conversation will help me think about it more deeply, because I just see it as like, it's like reducing the cost and imitating things that are already happening. When I see some of the video generation stuff for some reason it doesn't particularly inspire me. And I think the reason is because I'm seeing these image generations or video generations outside the context of a story, which is like the most interesting part to me. It's like, hey, we have this like beautiful AI generated Steadicam shot, and the way to evaluate it is to like really look at like how real does it look and all that stuff. But it's like a Steadicam, it's like a moving shot, let's say of like a skyline or some shit, whatever, right? It's like it's just, for whatever reason, I think it's very cool technologically, but I haven't had a chance to really think about like what that means like creatively, because I'm just looking at this one shot, right?
Yeah.
And I think the coolest thing about films and movies and shit is that like it's like seeing a character. It's like the world that's created. It's like it's not any specific shot that really bangs for me personally. It's like all of the shots in context of like whatever story is trying to be told, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I find games like much more inspiring, because I think the cool thing is that like games are like interactive, and so I think the fact that you can engage with it in this like other dimension, while the creators of the game still have to make it like feel real and like hold within the world. I think that's like much more interesting, especially in context of AI right now,
Yes.
because that simulates more of like the like it's coming closer to simulating like modern life. And when you look at like some games, like if you look at Grand Theft Auto, you're like this character in this like seemingly expansive city, right? And it's cool, like you're driving around. They put a lot of effort into the details of these games. Like it's fucking insane. They have when you're driving around in one of the cars or whatever, like they have radio stations like that are like with really dope artists and different genres of music, and it's fucking awesome. Like it's really good, you know? And like you're just driving around, you're listening to like these different radio stations. You could be listening to like West Coast rap or like other shit, and it's awesome. And then there's like comedy weaved in throughout all of it, and it's so rich and detailed.
This is like,
yeah,
you know, the screen will just do whatever you want it to do.
Yeah,
right?
And so, well, hold on, let me finish this. So then, you know, this is like the beginning of the game, but there's so many. Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. There's so many, little like details that it makes me wonder what it's gonna be like when you can have so much more of it like automatically generate. Okay, sorry, now I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so here what's happening is that like he's driving here, right? He's driving, and he can. The game is showing like these abilities that this character has. Right now there's not too many cars on the road. It's like a quiet kind of day, and like it's like this, you know, it's like this sunny kind of day in what looks like kind of like an LA kind of city. And as you pop out the bottom, it says like Prosperity Street, North Rockford Drive, Morningwood. These are all like details that they've added to give just enough structure. The way the car moves, the physics of it, the music, the shit that he's saying when he drives. Like, hey, watch out, man. There's all these they're just giving you just enough like details. Like that the paper just flew out of that post box, whatever, right? They break through this thing. They're driving here. It's giving you just enough. That guy was like, what the fuck? Oh, we filming shit here, huh? Right. And so it gives you just enough like this guy's like, what are you doing, man? It gives you just enough structure for it to feel like a real experience, a real expansive experience that you can project yourself into, right?
Yeah.
And when you're playing this game, it feels like you're driving the fucking car, and you're swerving around and shit. And there's other games that do this, right? There's other games that do this. Like there's like World of Warcraft, right? Fucking Half-Life, and they have different levels of like graphical fidelity. There's this thing sometimes with some of my friends where we'll look at old games that were like really meaningful to them, and then they'll be like, damn, I didn't know the graphics were so shit. Because when like it just hits enough and you just project yourself into it. It doesn't need to be an exact replica of day-to-day life for you to project yourself into the movie, and in some cases put tons of hours into the game, depending on like a game like World of Warcraft, right? There's like people that play that game that got like hyper addictive to like develop their character and all that shit. And so there's just enough like structure. We with the technology we already have, games are like this crazy immersive thing where, you know, GTA, for example, like this is a World of Warcraft. Yeah. So I actually never played this game, but like, you know, like this is like, it's creating just enough structure. This dude's running. There's like this fire thing you can see out into the distance, right? Like if you look way off into the distance there, it feels expansive, right?
Yeah.
And so I know it's a little long-winded. So keep going. It's like you have this like just enough structure to project yourself into it. And now when you have like graphics getting better, right? The GPU is like, now GPUs are being pushed harder than ever. Like the GPU development and innovation is being pushed harder than ever because of the demands on AI. I wonder what the side effects of that are going to be on just straight up image, straight up like graphical improvements. Like what's the side effect implication of that, right?
It looked like photographic.
Yeah, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Like these games, we look at this stuff and it's easy. It's like it's hard to imagine the degree to which graphics will improve. When I look at some of the old games that I played that really banged for me, and I look at the games I play now, I'm like, fuck. The graphics got so much better. Yeah. Like they got so much better, and they're going to get so much better than faster, and they're going to get so much better than they are here. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's just interesting to me, like think about what are the implications are going to be, because they already take up so much of our time. They already capture our fascination by so much. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like if you have like AI, and now it's like you have like tons of different storylines that you can play. You have graphics getting better and better, right? It's like, what are the like implications of that? You know, like, I don't know.
So I think
underrated thing, GTA 6 is going to be the one that shows us.
So a couple of things that came up to me. No, it's all good. Like everything I'm looking at here, right? All of these things, like the things that are not being controlled by the person is modeled as noise or randomness. Yeah. Right? Like within certain bounds, like within physics and within maybe there's certain timing and stuff like that. It's like when the car hits the thing, you got to like spin it out, but there's some amount of randomness or noise, right? Yeah. So like, but now we actually have a layer of intelligence that you can build on top of it. It doesn't apply to physical objects, but it does apply to like these NPCs, which is cool. Like you now have NPCs that can have intelligence rather than just having to like model it as randomness or noise. Yeah. Right. I think the other thing that came to mind when you were talking about these video models. Yeah. And then you said something about like the core engine of GTA. Yeah. And then what you just ended with, my thought is, I wonder if the next generation of gaming engines is actually the video model itself, right? Like
generating in real time.
Like generating in real time. In fact, and so it creates the characters, the intelligence, and you're not having to model every object in this scene with 3D. Like you don't need to have like a Blender model for every single one of these things, right? Or these objects. You literally are just generating it on the fly. Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but that seems like a line of progress that like has just opened up and will probably get explored a lot more.
A lot of times when there's like computer shifts happening, right? Like there's like banger games that come out. Yeah. And like these banger games really like attempt to like take these like new technology paradigms and like push it and apply it outside the context of like tools. And that's like really exciting to see how that's going to happen. There's this really good book called The Masters of Doom, I think it's called. And it's like about the creation of id Software with like John Carmack and shit. And I forgot what Masters of Doom. It's like a really good book. It's like fun to read.
I used to work with someone that her name was Stevie Case. She was the first. She like
John Carmack and John Romero. Yeah.
She like was the first. They used to have these Doom contests, like these massive Doom. She was like one of the first female winners of the Doom, like global Doom contests and stuff. It was crazy.
This is a good book.
Masters of Doom.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how this gets pushed. Like, you know, by who and by what. But yeah, I gotta use the washroom, so maybe let's wrap. It's 3:20. Let's wrap after this.
All right, cool. There's a guy in my high school that used to program in Quake C.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And he made like all of these like customized versions of Wolfenstein, Doom, Quake.
Whoa.
Yeah, like all this stuff. No, man, I think this is really interesting. I think one thing I'll wrap with here is this like concept for creators and consumers. This idea that like AI.
Okay, wait, let me go pee first.
Go pee.
maybe wrap it. Keep going.
Jesus Christ.
He needed to go really.
He had
badly.
to go, man. What? No. Here's my like thought on this.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, like I think when it comes to like media and AI, I think there's the thing that AI has enabled that was really difficult to do before was from a consumer perspective. You now like as someone watching or enjoying the game or doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, games are a different example of this because games you could play forever, right? But for other media, you can actually like extend it, right?
Yeah,
like you can take a video, you can just extend it for as long as you want. You can and extend the characters' lives, extend the plot lines, extend those things.
Yep.
And then the benefit this has for the person consuming is like, hey, they get to enjoy it, but the benefit it also has for the creator is this idea that like they're not stuck on like a content treadmill.
Yeah.
Right? Like this idea that they have to like create every narrative in a storyline for their readers to enjoy it. They just plan it all out. Yeah. It's crazy. And they can basically take a step back and become like a world builder.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing that's the most exciting for me about AI is that like more people are world builders.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone can become a world builder, define their characters, define their like the worlds in which they want their creators to play in, and then or their consumers to play in, and then like let them do those things. Right. I mean, you know when I saw you at New Demo 1, right? Like that was the thing that we built it around. It was like this idea that like you build a world, and then you just allow people to play in that world, and then you see all of the narratives that they can create from that. Yeah,
they're sandboxes.
They're sandboxes, right? And you know, it's actually such a freeing thing as a creator to be able to just say, this is the world, and let the people that are enjoying this media create the individual narratives. So like, in fact, it makes every piece of media like a linear piece of media, like a video or a song or a written story. It turns every single one of them into a game because it becomes interactive. You can extend it, you can fork it, you can take it in all these different directions, right? So I don't know, I'm super excited about that. Like, I mean, the whole like world of interactive stories that is just like is probably the other part of AI that I'm like most interested in, because what it actually means for creators and the freedom it affords them that was really difficult for them to do before.
It's interesting to think about that from an engine perspective. Like if you look at like game engines, people use like different game engines to like build games, right? Like what's the most used, we should wrap.
Unreal.
All good, man.
Yeah, what's the most used game engine to develop games? Is it Unreal? Probably, right?
Unity, Unreal, and then there's Godot, which is the open source Unity.
Yeah.
Is
what games? Let's just do this. And then, exactly. Thanks. Yeah. So, the reason I'm saying, because it's interesting to think about it in terms of like when you bring like things like reasoning and autonomous people into the into the game engine.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, holy fuck, it's like a lot of different layers, bringing it a lot of new layers, right?
I think it's like the future, the next step for games. It's
Yeah.
like letting the player to build out the world, having more freedom to do that. Not even just like the NPCs or characters, but like, let's say like, yo, I want to go to like a sand level.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, yo, the game generates a sand level for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that kind of happens already, no?
I think so. I think it's still.
Oh, you still got to select the stuff and everything. I don't know. I haven't dove into this.
Yeah, I think it depends on. Well, it goes back to like these engines and like.
Oh, you mean generate the levels?
Like map generation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go down. So it says Unity is the most common. Okay. Among Us, Monument Valley, Pokemon Go. So is Unreal holds second place, followed by Godot. Unreal Engine excels in high-end graphics, AAA development. Okay, so what games were made with Unreal Engine? Hi, my name's Claude, and I'm searching the web.
You sound like Claude, bro.
Unreal Engine has powered an impressive blah, blah, blah. Fortnite?
Epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another time, Batman. Okay, another time I'll look into like, I should probably look into the story of the Unreal Engine. And I wonder if there's any like documentaries made about it and stuff. Just game engines in general is like it's an interesting subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one that's in like the open source world that's like a Unity competitor that's gaining a lot of traction recently, which is called Godot.
Yeah.
Godot.
Oh yeah, it's mentioned here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah, I know
it's-
nothing about this. Yeah, I need to look into game engines.
Yeah, this is like the free open source version.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool.
All right, let's wrap. This is a good session. It's 3:26.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. This was awesome.